today we are back with the of me and my friend learning Unreal Engine 4. Now, while I wait for him, who's still wrapping up the Pega sessions of his, of course I'm gonna sell out first. Down in the description below you will find a link to the Power Shop. There you can find energy mixes, sleep mixes, shakers, and stickers. And if you use creator code Blackheart, you will get a 10% discount. Anyways, last time we learned about importing assets. We learned about creating materials, putting textures in them, assigning them the color of the texture, and well, that's where we had to leave it off because of course this is a 1 hour thing. Of course we do lose a little bit of time kind of waiting a little bit for either my friend's trip or gym, or if something happens, me having to come in late. And today we're supposed to gonna be starting step 8 of the session. I'm gonna get my desktop audio going and check if he is wrapping up. Yeah, he is wrapping up his Pega session. And last time we created this one, but for some reason it's not looking the right way. Let me open it up real quick. Alright, because it's still loading. Because here everything I had added still there. I know it's not visible right now because I'm hiding the overlay part of that one. And it is just loading it. Here it's already loading. This is the material we created. For strange reasons, a red rock. Which, don't let me wrong, red rocks do exist. They're just not everywhere, and it's a weird choice of coloring. I would have gone probably with a grayish tone, probably. I don't, in my perspective. But again, that would depend on what one's creating. Who knows? Maybe I'm making some kind of mushroom biome looking area, and I want to have blue rocks all over the place. That's gonna be it. That's what we learn how to make here. We are not artists ourselves, so some of the things mentioned back here, we didn't really understand it. Some of the artist terminologies that were here. If I can find one. Right, I cannot find it right now, so I'm not gonna waste time looking for that. But anyways, let me check one last time. I think he is wrapping up. I'm gonna wait until I see a change on his overlay a little bit, or that he messaged me letting me know that he is ready or something. And we can get started with step 8, applying materials to static mesh anchors, which I'm guessing is adding one of the assets provided to us and putting a material to it. That's only a guess by just looking at the images down below. Which this is what we learned to import, like these 2 assets, 2 materials, and 2 textures. 2 textures used to create this material. And let's see. He's explaining a few things, so let's give him a few minutes. In the meantime, I honestly don't know what to talk about. I am right now thinking of my next month's schedule, since I beat Alan Wake and Alan Wake American Nightmare in one sitting, which I'm surprised I actually pulled that off. The month of Horror is coming close to an end. That means Phasmo is also coming to an end real soon. Okay, he's so researching. So I gotta think on what am I gonna do? Like at the fast on Saturdays, I kind of already have an idea. It is Wednesdays my biggest issue right now. That, and I'm kind of thinking about maybe streaming Blender. I haven't made up my mind on that. Let me hop on over to his stage. You guys are probably gonna hear his little intro a little bit. I am gonna leave my desktop audio on. Hopefully audio is working fine.
Okay, we're gonna go
There
ahead
it
and
is.
get back into the Unreal Engine. If you're catching this live on stream, thank you for being here. If you're watching this later on video, thank you for joining me on this little adventure of ours. I'm being joined by Blackheart, who's currently in the stage right now, and I will go ahead and invite to speak.
Hello there.
Hey there, bud. How's it going?
I'm doing okay. How about you?
Awesome, awesome. I'm doing okay. I'm doing okay. Just kind of got my mind blown from the previous Pega topic, but they put like they said it was like, hey, this is going to be 10 minutes long, and it felt like they put it like an entire book into a single web page. It was um, just jam-packed full of information, and trying to wrap my head around everything that was being said in it. It was like, oh my god. I had to split it up into 2 separate days because it was just too much. So, um, so my mind is kind of going right at this moment of time. But we got Unreal to work on
Yep.
today. So, last we left off,
Step 8. Applying
yeah,
material to static mesh anchors.
yeah, which was for the artist quick start. So,
Yep.
um, okay, so, here, just in case, let me go ahead and bring up your stream here, just in case. You know, just in case I have to kind of see what you are dealing with, or what you're contending with or whatnot. So, all right. Let me make sure that everything else is looking good.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'll probably be most of the time just waiting for things to load in.
indeed, indeed. So, all right. Looks pretty good on my end. So, you ready to go? Shall we get started on this?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. Not quite sure why Chrome is not being shown. There we go. Okay. So, you're now ready to bring things together. Yay! Okay. The objective of this step is to apply our material to the static mesh we imported. Specifically, you'll learn how to set an anchor actor's default material and change materials used by an actor. So, this section will show you setting an actor's default material. So this section will show you how to set a static mesh actor's default material. The default material will be used whenever an actor is placed in the level. Inside the content browser, double-click the asset you imported earlier in this guide, which was the basic asset 1. The static mesh editor will load your asset for editing. So,
Okay.
or at least they're kind of showing that you need to kind of select the basic asset, you know, from the pictures in the web page example. So,
Yep.
now I don't think it's showing the other window right at this moment in
No,
time.
it's like a
So,
separate window. I'm using the
yeah,
window capture I use for rock to show it off.
there we go. Yep, same here. So, um, which is kind of interesting. I actually had the second window active on my sources, so I had to switch back to the first window
Hmm.
for my second window. I messed up from yesterday. Whatever. We move on.
Yeah.
Okay, so the static mesh editor will load your asset for editing. So yeah, that should be visible right there. Okay, so inside the details panel, under LOD0, left click the materials drop down menu. Okay, so
Materials.
mm,
LOD.
so under the materials, under LOD0,
Here it is. Ah, there it is.
left click the materials drop down menu. But I'm not seeing the it's not highlighted for me. Okay, maybe I'm missing something here
Let me see
because
what you're
it's not.
saying. Because on LOD0, I had to expand the sections part to see what it's being shown, but the drop down window doesn't work.
Yeah, same. So I'm not quite sure what's going on there. Um,
I don't know either.
let's see. Um,
Let me go up to the LOD. It should be this one.
yeah, they're specifically saying the LOD0,
Yeah, but that
and
drop down's not working. The only drop down that's working is up on material slot.
yeah.
Let me see what the next
Hmm.
step looks like.
Well, it's
Okay,
telling
now,
you to change. It's telling you to change the material. So
yeah, I think I know. I see what the problem is. It appears this is like a version difference. What's supposed to be in LOD0, which is not being allowed us to change, is actually now on material slot, because if you hit that drop down, it looks like what's being shown on the next part. Is the drop down window where you can select the material.
yeah, but I
It
don't
could be
know.
like a version difference where they change that spot or something. Because I don't see any other way to actually do that, like to enable that part in any way. Nothing. I can nothing in building settings. Nothing there.
Yeah, I think they changed it up. They changed like the changed it up a little bit because if you look on the okay, so it looks like they kind of separated them into like two separate sections from the looks of it because if you look on the web page, you see the tutorial asset material, which is what the material is there.
Yes.
And you see that, material slots also has like the highlight and isolate, which, is the same for the LOD 0. But it also has the textures drop down, which is the same as in the LOD 0. But if you look to the LOD 0 down below, it does not have that textures
No,
drop
it
down.
is located on material slot.
But here's the thing. If you notice though, LOD 0 is still dealing with cast shadow, enable collision, and the default 1.0 for the screen size. So it looks as though they kind of said, you know what, let's take some of that and we'll move it over to the materials section, and we'll leave the LOD 0 as its own section, you know. Now I don't know what the material slot is all about. Why there's like a drop down for that, even though it's not working for us right at this moment in time,
Yeah.
or it's nothing's dropping down. But maybe if we change the texture, because it wanted us to change it to rock, right?
Yeah.
Um, Now maybe the material slot would change. No, it didn't. It doesn't drop down at all after that change. So I'm not quite sure what LOD 0 is all about. So
The LOD 0 automatically updates upon updating material. It
yeah, I
will
know.
adopt that. And I'm also noticing that the whole site section on details doesn't really match what's shown on the preview. Like it's showing that LOD 0 is at the very top option, but we have something else at the very top option. Then we have LOD settings and aesthetic mesh on the preview that's shown on the website. But if we look at what we have material slot, LOD picker, LOD 0, then LOD settings, general settings, collision, import settings, ray
Okay,
tracing. That
let me-
like there it doesn't match what's on the preview on the website.
well, the website isn't showing everything
No, but
for
you can
that.
actually see
So
you can see where the bar is located when it was loaded in. Like it's showing that you're looking at what's at the very top right now on this preview on
hmm
the sidebar. LOD 0 is on the top for them. Then LOD settings, then static mesh settings. Ours at the very top has material slot, LOD picker that doesn't show up on the preview, then LOD 0, and then everything else that's further down. And we have another window which is socket measure, which is not shown on the preview either.
yeah.
I'm guessing they
So
changed
yeah.
that up. And now materials is what manages the textures.
Well, they added additional parts to the
Yeah, so I'm guessing the
to
preview is
this.
just out of date.
Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of this is feeling already kind of out of date. We've already kind of, you know, seen some problems before. Yeah, we saw some problems yesterday with it as well.
Yeah,
So we're gonna
like
have to kind of deal with that. Um,
yeah,
not much we can really do, unfortunately.
like
So
take what was shown to us and maybe see where it might have been moved.
yeah. But I'm still kind of curious as to um, you know, what exactly are they like referencing for LOD? What is LOD 0? What does that mean? What is the
Yeah,
acronym kind of talking about? You
it's
know,
something that's I'm not even seeing like
so
a description of it, and if I hover my mouse over it, I'm not getting a description for it. It'd be nice to know what it means, but Well, they're not
Yeah.
telling us that. Although I could
No,
Google
but
it. I could easily
no.
do a quick Google of it.
Yeah. Yeah. Uh, But it would be kind of nice if they kind of explained it here,
Yeah.
you know, um, under this. Maybe if I select the static mesh editor UI, it kind of goes over it a little bit. Hold on, let me look. Uh,
Okay, LOD, level of detail. It is a way to limit the impact of meshes as they get further away from the camera.
mm-hmm. Okay. So
I've seen
that's
tricks on some games where the further away it is, the level of detail the lower it gets.
mm-hmm.
So I guess it's a means to control that.
Um, but here, if I guess, sure, I guess, but at the same time, um, oh wait, hold on. Okay, so, notice in the material slots,
Yes.
right now, there's one material slot, right?
Yes. Material slot 1, and we can add more.
Yeah. So if you add more, then you can basically say, okay, so, the base LOD is currently, the LOD, the rock that we just selected, right?
Yeah.
But if we wanted to add another, you know, if we wanted to add like something that had like maybe less detail, then we could put that one in
Yeah, and
so
the
that like maybe
LOD would switch between them.
right. So like if you do get like further and further away, then it will kind of reduce down the detail. Like it will only show like the color. It won't like show the specific highlights of it or something like that. So instead of like, you get like super close to grass and you're seeing like every single blade, but as you get further and further away from it, you don't see those single individual blades anymore. You're just kind of seeing the green. You see
Yeah.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, okay. Okay. At least I'm assuming that's where you can do it. You can add another material slot, put like a different one that doesn't have as much texture, and
Something
then
with
you
less
can
details, and that's it.
yeah, and then you can well, I mean, you can, you know, based off of what I'm seeing here, you can either make it like super detailed, like you're showing um, like if you're going up to a person's face, you're actually seeing like their freckles kind of thing, you know. You step back a little bit more, the freckles kind of
Disappear.
go away. Well, not necessarily go away, but not disappear, but just kind of maybe fade back or something like that. They're not as pronounced, but you might still see like a person's scar or something like that, right? Or maybe they have like a change in skin color, or maybe they have like scales that have different colors to them or something like that. You take a step back even further, and now you don't really see those scars or different color scales or something like that. You're just kind of seeing, their like body color or something like that, or maybe just the clothes that they're wearing, whatever,
Yeah.
that kind of thing. So, like, you can add in those like multiple layers of details, into that particular object, you know, um,
It's a
like
common
if
trick
you're
used by developers when they have very detailed stuff, but they don't want to waste resources on anything that's further away.
right. You don't necessarily need to kind of focus on that level of detail, when you're super far away from it. you know. But as you get closer and closer, that detail will kind of become a little bit more apparent. How you can kind of, allow for that, or as you get closer, how it switches. I don't really know. How did they figure that part out? That's something that we'll probably have to see later. But
Yeah.
if we even get to that point, my friend,
Yeah.
you know, we may get to, and we're probably still going to be doing like things like, yeah, we're just going to have like um, one texture and that's it. Here's your grass, leave us alone.
There's your
Um,
Oblivion to Great Grass.
yeah, exactly. Pretty much. Um, then for now, we'll just kind of deal with that for the time being, and then maybe later on we'll go like, hey guys, it'd be really nice to be able to kind of see this happen. um but obviously, we don't want to necessarily overload artists in doing all that work as well. So we have to pick our battles, right?
Yeah.
you know like if we have like if we tell the artist, hey, this is going to be a long project, um for us the programmers to build it, like we're trying to build like the RPG, for example, right?
Yeah.
um and we tell them like, hey, um build the landscape and buildings and so on and so forth as plainly as you can, and we'll put them in. And if they're like done like halfway through the project and we're still kind of working on the code or something like that, testing it out and making sure everything kind of works, then maybe they'll go back in and go, okay, let's see if we can add some more details in there,
Yeah.
and they might do that. Um, so nothing wrong with that, but then again, if they do things like that, it will add to the overall size of the project as well. So we have to kind of be careful with that as well. Like if we're basically saying, hey, we're going to be doing a project that's on mobile phones, and the artist starts going, hey, I'm going to add like layer upon layer upon layer of texture onto this one particular object, then we're going to be like, oh, no, you know. So, um, but yeah, it depends, obviously, but we can kind of discuss that later, obviously. So, um, so the preview pane should update with the rock material, how it looks, and all that jazz.
Yep.
Clicking the save button first, and then close the material editor. So, save, and then close. And then, of course, we are back to Unreal Engine. Okay, it updated automatically for me. Well, thank you there, OBS. I appreciate you doing that. Okay, inside the content browser, drag and drop the used texture static mesh actor into your level. So, um, which is a little rough because, I mean, um, I have objects already in the field already, so it's
And
like,
like what I did was, there's like a line in the middle. I just turned the camera around and faced that empty space that's underneath the camera,
yeah,
and just work with that.
yeah, same. I just moved the camera around and put it in, so. Okay, so the specified material will be used anytime you place an asset in the level. So, yeah. When we placed the static mesh object in our level, we created an instance of our object, an actor. For every instance of that actor, we're able to specify its material. So here's how you change a static mesh actor's material. Select your static mesh actor. Okay, so what I think we should do in this particular case, because it sounds like we're going to be changing like one actor's materials, and not like all the actors' materials. If you get what I'm saying, right?
Yeah.
So what I suggest that we do is we put in two of the same object, same act, go to the content browser and we drag in another one of the basic assets once. Okay, so we have two of them kind of side by side. So we can kind of show that if we're changing the material for one, we're not changing the material for both. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, so we select our static mesh actor. Inside the details panel, locate the materials section and click the materials drop-down menu. So there's the materials right there. And I already have like the one that I dragged in selected automatically. So inside the pop-up menu, select a different material. And I guess they said, pick any one that you want. So they selected the tutorial asset material, switch it back to it. So
Yep.
So I just did that. Alternatively, drag and drop a new material into the static mesh actor. Okay, so I switch back to the tutorial. You can see like the different meshes between the two. So there's that. And now they're saying that you can even take straight from the content browser and change the mesh like right then and there.
Yeah, like you can
Oh, you
drag
can.
it onto the object and book, it changes.
Yeah.
That is similar to like Unity. Unity did the same thing, I believe.
Yeah.
In that case, they did teach you about prefabs before doing that, though. Like, if you wanted to change everything, you needed to change that prefab. But here, you can like, it's just a means of changing like only one element without changing the base itself.
Right. Well, I mean, they just kind of they kind of taught us that though by changing the basic asset, by going into the
Yeah, they first taught us how to change the base itself, like the quote unquote prefab.
Yeah, by going into the static mesh editor, you can you can change the base of it, Whereas, you can just kind of change the each of the actors differently based off of the materials, or you can drag straight from the content browser. So not that bad, but it can be a little dangerous too. So like if you were to go, hey, I want to drag this rock up to this actor. Oops, I missed. Now the floor is rock. Or something along those lines. It's like
it's safer to either edit it from the drop down material or drag the thing to the material section of the details menu.
Yeah. So
those are much safer. As long as you remember you have selected the right thing as well.
Indeed. So okay, you've just applied materials to your static mesh actors by setting your actor's default material, changing material used by your actor. We've now reached the end of the artist's quick start guide. By now, you should have the skills needed to set up a project, create materials, edit materials, and apply materials to the static mesh actor. Are you ready to do some exercises on your own? Not really. But I'll finish this step anyway.
Yeah.
So they're basically saying, hey, on your own, create a new material. Main material node, settings, simulated plastic material, add basic asset 1 to the level, apply the material to it, updated material to apply the brick normal map texture. And then there's a lot of additional, like, web pages to kind of go to on that. So for the most part, I don't think I really want to go and deal with that personally. So
no.
Thinking let's kind of back on out of this because we're pretty much done with this.
Pretty much, yeah.
So I think we can move on to the programming quick start.
Yeah, I guess we can jump into that one.
Okay. Unless you want to kind of close out today's session early, you know, because we still got like 20 more minutes. So I mean, we could say, hey, we're just gonna stop it here, and we'll leave the programming for next time, or um, you know,
Hmm.
or do you want to start on it now? Because the first couple shouldn't be that bad. So maybe.
I don't know. Well,
I
let's
I
have
do
a
I
quick look at it.
I do see the fact that they did the same thing that they did before with the artists. They basically said, "Hey, you finished this step." No, no, I haven't. So
Yeah, let's say let's start this play next time since we finish this. So we have like
okay.
plenty of time to go through it. I am going to take the time to remove all the quote unquote finished that it's already been applied to it.
What do you mean?
Not just removing all the markers that are on the programming quick start. Since it's marking me like I had one, two,
Oh,
three,
okay, got
five,
it.
six done.
Yeah, yeah. I see. I see what you're talking about. Going through the web page and saying, "Hey, on this page, you already did the required setup to create the new C++ class, to edit your C++ class, to compile and test your C++ code, end result on your own sample code." It's like, oh.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
also
I
might
was
need
doing.
time to set up the capture for the for Visual Studio, since I don't know if the one I have on will pick it up quickly.
Understandable. Understandable. Um. Okay. You. Hmm.
What's up?
So, I know my way around C, and I know a little bit about C++. Would you like me to kind of discuss that a little bit while we have time?
I
Because, I don't know how much you know about, um, I don't know how much C sharp has in comparison of with C and C sharp, C++.
with C pretty much
So,
nothing, but with C++ I have no idea really. My knowledge
okay,
of C++ is
so,
pretty much little to nothing.
okay. Um, so let me try to explain it a little bit here. Um, if you go to the programming quick start here real quick, under step 3, there's the edit your C++ class. Okay. There's uh, like a visual that kind of shows like multiple different files in there,
Yeah.
under quick start. So you notice that obviously there's some C sharp tags in there, C sharp files, quickstart.build.cs, quickstart.target.cs, quickstarteditor.target.cs, and those are C sharp, and obviously, you know if we use C sharp, that's going to be interesting in this, but we'll move on. The other files that you'll see in there is, like, take from the very top there, or near the very top, floating actor.cpp and floating actor.h.
Hmm.
Okay. So floating actor.h is what you call header file. Okay. That the .h is the the that's the what's the word I'm looking for? Um, that's like the label of what a header file is all about. Okay. If you have a .h, you automatically know it's called a header file. Okay.
Okay.
Um, so a header file is basically something that you will use to um, it's like it initializes the code itself. You're putting in the functions in it. You're kind of you're referencing libraries that you might need in the code itself. Um, I don't know. Did you when you were using C sharp, was there like libraries that you put like at the very top of the file itself? Like, hey, I'm gonna use this library. I'm gonna use that library. I'm gonna use this other library. Were
Yeah.
you doing that like at the very top?
At the very top, yeah, it would import certain libraries.
Okay. So a header can take that and put it in its own file. Okay, so that the compiler looks at the header file and automatically knows what it needs to reference for the C++ file itself. Okay, so you
Mm.
don't necessarily need to put the library, the into the file itself. I mean, you could, but normally it's just easier to just kind of put it in the header, and you don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it.
Yeah, it's a bit of a
Okay.
much cleaner code, I guess.
Yeah. Um, then when you get into the C++, you're actually putting in the actual code. Okay. Like, here, let's see. If you go down to say like step 4, they show like two different if statements
Yeah.
there. That would be code that you put into the C++ file itself. You don't do these kind of code additions typically in a header file. Okay,
Hmm.
so typically, not all, and there are certain cases where you might want to put in something that like maybe you're doing like a constant. Maybe you'll put it into a header file, but for the most part, you don't want to add any kind of like major code in there. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so um, for the most part, you're basically using the header to kind of um,
House the libraries, pretty much.
it's like an outline of your C++ file. Okay, it's basically saying this is what you will see in the C++ file. It won't necessarily say this is how the logic will work out, but it will just basically say this is what you will see in there. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's the difference between the two for the most part. Okay. Obviously, we'll be getting to do more, later, but um, okay. For example, go down to the on your own section.
Here it is on your. Yeah, I see it.
So for floating actor.h, you'll notice that they have a section called public. Okay, and they have you know u property with various um, values contained inside of it. You know, parameters put inside of that u property. and then of course they have a float speed equals 20.0 f. That is um, not necessarily like a constant, but it's basically like it's setting that float speed at the very beginning. Okay,
Yeah.
that value may change because it's not a definitive constant. It's not like a set constant,
No, it's just
but
gonna a
it's
starting value and that's it.
right. So those could change. So if you wanted to say like gravity, that will never change, then you can always put like a constant in there,
Yeah.
and same spot. You can kind of put it in the header, you know, as a constant in there. But um, so yeah, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, we'll cover more of that um tomorrow.
Yeah.
So I hope that kind of helps a little bit. I
Mm,
hope.
yes, it does. It does.
Okay. You know, I'm not like I said, I'm not the best when it comes to C++, but I'll do what I can to explain what I remember.
Yeah.
So,
Either way, we both will have to improve our C++ to be able to make something, anyways.
yeah. Um, the last time I did C++ was actually back in community college. And the last, like one of the last classes that I took, I was learning programming then. I didn't have, I barely had any like programming training prior to that. I took like one programming course in high school, and even then, um, that wasn't like they were using like a pretty um old programming code. Even prior to C and C++. So it wasn't great, but um, the so when I got to the community college, I was kind of learning C and C++ for the very first time, trying to learn object-oriented programming for the first time. And I just remember, I was getting kind of stuck on one of my projects, and I would like raise my hand. I was like going, "Hey, TA, can you come on over and help me out with this?" And the guy, took one look at my code, said, "Your code is ugly," and didn't do anything more. And it's like, "Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that." So, um, gotta love those, you know, individuals that,
Yeah.
basically tell it to you straight. I mean, my code probably did look ugly back then. Who knows? It probably still does. Um, when compared to some people that are very professional. But at the same time, you know, um, uh, I have had times where it's um, like I've been on a project, like I mentioned before. I was on that one project that the guy kind of did his own thing by himself and said, "Yeah, I finished it," without any kind of input from me.
Yeah.
And I mentioned the fact that I couldn't read it all. You know, I it was um it was not readable to me at all.
You
I
couldn't
could
make
not.
heads or tails of what was doing what, where was everything going. And I'm guessing there weren't any comments to specify what does this section do.
Nope.
Ish.
Um, from what I can gather, he tried to overload a lot of the. He was doing a lot of overloading
Hmm.
uh for the project to to you know be cutesy on his on getting to the end result. Um, but I was taking one look at it and I'm like going, there's no way that I'm going to be able to take this. And because it was part one of like a 13 part project. I was looking at that part one that he gave and I'm like going, there's no way that I can take this and put on a part two, you
No.
know? And the fact that he kind of did it all himself, I was like going, okay, teacher, I need to get out. I need, as much as, it's going to suck that I'm kind of going to be doing code by myself because everybody else had partners by that point. I was like, I can't, I can't work with this guy. If he doesn't want to work with me on writing code, then, and this is the code that he wrote, you know, I'm better off alone, you know.
Yeah, I know what that's like. Yeah, the first
So,
language I had learned was Python back when I was going to college as well. That one
mm,
I didn't have much of a trouble because it was pretty streamlined. Like it wasn't that hard. Then
mm,
they jumped from that to C sharp, and it was like we went from 0 to 100 in 5 seconds.
yeah,
That Python was not the point for us to start and then jump to C sharp.
yeah,
And my first project on that one, my group just bailed, just disappeared. They even stopped going to the classes, and then I had to ended up doing it myself. But it was such a big project that I couldn't finish it in time.
mm,
It was made to be done in group.
right,
Then
yeah.
the second time that was actually put in a group, they were still going. They just didn't give a damn about the project.
Oh, jeez.
Knowing that, I started working on it early. They told us at the very beginning what the project was gonna be about. I just started early on my own.
Mm-hmm.
And when I turned it in, I did notify my teacher at that time that this is what I did. They asked, okay, what did the others do? I told them they didn't do jack shit. They didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like I was like, okay, you're still not gonna help me? I'm gonna throw you under the bus. I did this on my
And,
own. I had to uh, take time out of my schedule to do this. I had to kind of struggle with other homework I had just to get this project done in time.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh,
Eventually, I
yeah.
then took
I
another
feel.
course for Java, which the group I ended up with cared more about the aesthetic than the functionality.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, it was like, guys, doesn't matter how pretty this look. This needs to work. If it doesn't work, we're done for.
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. Um, that it was, and that's reminding me of like, well, I mean that same course that I was on, and that I'm telling you about. I was also, uh, when I was going through the university, I was basically taking two programming courses back to, at the same time. You know,
Hmm.
two separate programming courses at the same time. Every quarter through my stay there at the university, and um, I made the mistake of picking one of the hardest courses or one of the hardest professors
Eesh.
uh, for. Well, okay, when when I was taking it, or when I was there, I heard that this particular professor, if you have his class, you will learn everything. I mean, he will, you know, uh, you know, he will teach you everything that there is to know about it. Okay, you don't leave that course, kind of going, blah, 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 I don't know anything. No, he will. He puts you through the ringer in that course, and um, it was one of those courses where it's like, it was a make or break. If you do not make it, you're out. You failed it. Okay.
Yeah.
He basically stated, at he stated first day of class, you know, if you don't, if you don't pass 3 out of my 5 quizzes, you'll fail the course. You will get an automatic F. There's no questions. Okay, I will give you an F automatically. If you don't pass the midterm, you will get an automatic F.
Hmm.
If you if you don't pass the final, you will get an automatic F. And there's 3 programming projects that the class will go through that you have to complete on time, you know, and it has to go through my test suite in order to pass the class. If you don't get through all 3 of those projects, you will fail the course.
Hmm.
That was at the same time as the other class that I was dealing with, that one idiot, well, not idiot, but you know, with my other partner. So that class I was kind of struggling because I was by myself when I should have had a partner trying to, you know, catch up because I was already behind. Okay, then the instructor was basically saying, okay, well, I need you to turn in project 1 to me. You know, if this is if he did this on his own, then you're going to need to turn in project 1 to me. So I'm now behind in that class. So I had to try to catch up there, but at the same time I had this other course that was like, now I could have it wasn't like the only teacher at that particular moment in time. There was another teacher, but at the same time, I wanted to learn as much as I can, at the university. I wasn't there to, like, get C's and skate and try to skate through. I wanted to learn, what it is, what the information, how to program, you know. Um, I wanted to learn about everything that, the professors were providing. Um, so it was the reason why I picked that professor. I wanted to learn as much as I could from him. So on one hand, it was a mistake because, I was already dealing with a lot during that quarter already,
Hmm.
and that cascaded into other problems down the line. But at the same time, I don't necessarily regret it either because, I mean, he was right. He taught me a lot when it came to C and C. Well, not C++, but the main language there was C, and he was basically putting us through the ringer on it. And I'm like, God, this is, in some ways, this is the hardest class ever, but at the same time, it was the best class ever. uh, I think I still have his book of notes somewhere. Uh, mm, I forget exactly where, but I think I still have it somewhere. You know, but yeah, it was. Oof.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So, it's rough trying to do like 2 programming courses at the same time.
Yeah. I think I had a similar
Oh,
situation when I was doing programming and learning operating systems. Operating systems that was a dense lesson. I'll say that. That
yeah,
I struggled a lot on that one.
yeah,
Between making the project and having to learn everything from that, ugh, my brain was like, stop.
yeah. I was like constantly programming during that quarter.
Yeah,
I, you know, I basically found the spot where I could just kind of sit down, relax, have food and drink next to me, and I was just coding on my laptop like almost constantly. So, obviously I took some time out to, because when you're doing 2 projects in code at the same time, your brain gets mush
yep,
fast.
yep.
um, so, um, so yeah, I was taking time off. I was like, Okay, I need to. My brain is mush. Time to play some Minecraft. um, but typically it was like, okay, after a little bit of time of that, let's get back into coding. I don't remember the other courses that I had that semester. I was not paying attention to either one of those other two courses at all. For that quarter. So I think I skated by those, okay. Like I wasn't really focused on those all that much because obviously my main focus was trying to handle those two programming courses.
Yeah.
So, oh boy, memories. All right. Well, let's go ahead and close down there, my friend. You
Yep.
have yourself some food to get to, and then you've got the Star Rail later on tonight.
Yep.
Same with me.
Yep. Now try and progress the story a little bit. Find Fu's ascension material. I'm needing that stuff.
Mm. Yeah, there's a couple of characters that um, I'm not. I don't have the essential materials for them either.
And
Namely, Kefka. She doesn't have. I haven't gotten that
well, then I
that
have.
particular calyx
Yeah, you're gonna have to
available.
probably work on the main story to reach the area.
Yeah. So
And Fu seems to
yeah.
be quite far because I haven't found it. I've played through the story for quite a bit and still have not found it.
Oof.
And she
That's
is like
that's.
what's keeping my team alive because they hit hard where I'm at. They hit
Mm-hmm.
really hard.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm feeling like I'm gonna need like a good um what's that one polarity? It's like the space polarity or something like that, or gravity
Um,
polarity.
yeah,
Um,
I don't remember it either.
yeah. But I feel like I'm gonna need like a good
You should have gotten one
like
for free, which I now understand it now. Which the one with what's that game called? The Japanese or Chinese game with the little blocks.
oh mahjong
Yeah, the one that has
or
those
mahjong.
mahjong things with her. Um, her
Mm.
strength is based of how many matches she's got. If she got like 3 in a row, those are gonna hit
Oh
pretty
right,
hard. If you got all
right.
4, then it's gonna do devastating damage. Like her attack is based on that.
Yeah.
And fortunately, re-rolling doesn't take a turn for her.
Yep. Yeah.
Maybe right now you might want to work on that one until you get yourself a better one.
Yeah. Yeah. Indeed. Um.
Yeah, I find a lot weak to that on where I'm at.
Yeah. We still got like one more week with the current banner, but that character that we have right now is what was it?
It's a cryo, it's
Ice.
ice type.
Yeah. So
You
it's like,
might.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I don't remember
You
who
know.
else was on that banner right now.
Well, the one character that you've been liking, the
Sampo?
one character Sampo.
Oh yeah, he's really good.
He's in that banner as well. Um, I don't know. I don't know if he's going to be if he'll work out really well with Kefka and Himiko combo, but we'll see. We'll see.
Let's see,
You
like
know.
he's mostly a breaker that applies debuff, the shred
Yeah.
debuff, and that stacks up to 5 times, and that shred is where most of his damage comes from.
Right. Right. Okay. Let's go ahead and close down the Unreal tutorials and stuff like that. So,
Yeah,
I mean, if you want to, we can talk more about Honkai Star Rail later on tonight. So,
yeah, later.
if you want to join
Yeah, I'm
in
probably
the
gonna be
stage again.
still pushing the main story a little bit. Maybe do some side
Yeah.
stories to try and do another poll, but mostly gonna focus on the main story.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So,
gotta get Fu's ascension materials.
Alright. But we're gonna go ahead and close on down for the Unreal. More
Yeah.
to go and to come tomorrow.
Yep.
Obviously, we're gonna be going over the programming section, so look forward to that. Um, I got some videos to upload just after this, and then both of us will have Honkai Star Rail later on tonight.
Yeah.
So
And
come on back and join us for that.
yeah, I'm gonna go off and get something to eat before starting a new stream for that.
Indeed, indeed. But yeah. Um, I'll talk with you later there, Blackheart. You have yourself a good night, and
You
I'll
too.
catch you next time. Alright, man.
Mm.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Okay, that is closed down. Might as well meteor shower someone. Meteor shower. Let's see who is on right now. Which I think there should be several. Give me a second. I'm still loading things because Firefox decided to update all of a sudden. There we go. And send you guys to watch someone while I go get something to eat. I'll be back in roughly an hour, or maybe a little bit over an hour, while I get something to eat. I will start a brand new stream for that, so that it doesn't get mixed up with this whole Unreal stuff. Now, okay, there are several people on right now. Let's see. Oh, I see Hershey. I've seen her lurking on my chat a few times. Might as well go and send you guys over there. She's doing Baldur's Gate 3. Ooh, nice. Ooh, I forgot about desktop audio. There we go. Oh, did she already close down or something? Oh no, there we go. It's just my laptop was not loading properly. Okay. There's meteor shower, Hershey. And okay. That is gonna be it for today's stream. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if anyone has any suggestions about Unreal, what we covered so far, will be level design or the artist quick starts parts on the YouTube, leave it down in the comments below. If you stream, comments will coming soon. And if you see this one when that comes out, well, leave it down in the comments below as well. So, okay, I better go have something to eat. See you guys in an hour or so. Bye!